Now, joining me now is Antony Loewenstein, an independent journalist, author, and filmmaker. Good to see you again. And I wanted to ask you about settler violence. That was increasing long before October 7, along with growing numbers of Palestinian civilians killed by the IDF and settlers in the West Bank. How much worse is it getting post-October 7 and why?
Even in 2023, it was the largest number of Palestinians killed ever on record. And as you rightly say, the numbers are already skyrocketing. It's partly because many settlers, the more opportunistic ones, see an opportunity. Much of the world's looking at Gaza, less so onto the West Bank. And the collusion that's existed really for a long time between the Israeli soldiers and settlers is becoming more and more overt. It's always been there, but it's so clear now, and obviously the Israeli government is really pushing that forward. So there's really not much difference often in very many parts of the West Bank between a soldier and a settler. They're essentially assisting each other. And Palestinians have no recourse. There's no justice. There's no real fair court system. So it's really in many ways tragically akin to the Wild West.
And many settlers actually wearing military uniforms, even if they're not in the military. Yeah. You said that many in the Israeli intelligence and political elite worry that they're losing the information battle globally, online and elsewhere, and that disinformation has become a big issue in Israel. How is all of that playing out? What's the impact?
One of the things that's been so clear in the last 10 years, so much of the Western press and elites are concerned about Russian and Chinese disinformation, and I'm not suggesting that's not a real problem, it is. But what you've seen in the last years is a growth in Israeli-led disinformation. What I mean by that is that Israeli companies, both private and also associated with the Israeli government, this is long before October 7, but it's certainly accelerated since, are pumping out huge amounts of false information. They're actually paying various people, almost have their own troll farms, essentially. And after October 7, a lot of sources I spoke to, and including it's been reported in the Israeli press, realised that particularly with the youth in many countries, they're not just losing that information war, they've lost it. And therefore, they're pumping out huge amounts of false information on TikTok, Instagram, and other sort of platforms. Now, I would argue that it's not particularly successful because so many people increasingly do not engage the mainstream press and go to social media instead, and they're seeing the facts on the devastation and what's happening in Gaza at the moment.
And still on the issue of disinformation, if you like. I mean, you're Jewish. I'm curious whether you, as others have, consider the term that anti-Semitic as having been weaponized, that it's being used to intimidate or silence criticism of government policy or military action, all of which, of course, aren't anti-Semitic. Have you seen that?
Hugely, and this actually worries me, and I've written about this for a long time, because real anti-Semitism is a problem. The attack on Jews, the going after Jewish people because of who they are, because they're Jewish, that's a problem, and it's growing in some parts of the world, and I would argue that often Israeli actions are making that worse. But the fact is that to weaponize anti-Semitism, to try to silence people who are critical of Israel, Jewish or non-Jewish. I mean, in Germany, the most extreme examples, anyone seemingly Jewish or non-Jewish who is critical of the occupation, who is opposed to Israel's genocide in Gaza, is apparently anti-Semitic. If you use that term so loosely, you're actually making it impossible to fight real anti-Semitism, which in some parts of the world is undeniably growing.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you too, and it's sort of going back to the settler thing, because I saw video the other day of settlers actually crossing into Gaza and sort of symbolically trying to, put up a structure as a message of resettlement. What are your concerns about what we know of Israeli plans for post-war Gaza?
Well, they're deep concerns because there's certainly a vocal minority of settlers and those who think like them who want to essentially settle Gaza again, to bring settlers back. They were pulled out in 2005. And that footage you mentioned was disturbing. It was the start, I suspect, of much more to come. And the vision, if you can call it that, is essentially Gaza is being levelled by Israel. It's been the case now for nearly 5 months. And the idea is that settlers are then allowed to build ideas and build homes. And Israeli real estate companies are already selling land and territory in Gaza for that future territory. I mean, the only way Israeli settlers can live in Gaza would be massively fortified. I mean, it's an impossible situation, frankly. But many in the Israeli government and frankly in the Israeli people support this idea, and it's disturbing in the extreme.
Always good to get your analysis, Anthony. Good to see you. Antony Loewenstein there in Sydney for us.
Thank you.